morning, everyone. This is G5 News Report. My name is Cheska Basilan.
And my name is Mark Nathaniel Agno.
And this is TCWD
News Updates. Breaking news. The UK commits to safer schools urged by the actions of global citizens and partners. This is vital news at a time of escalating conflict.
Military action in Syria is causing global attention, affecting innocent human lives, including children. The impact on education is often overlooked despite the critical learning it is for children to rebuild their war-torn communities.
Global Citizen is monitoring the UK government's commitment to reduce attacks on students, teachers, schools, and universities, and inviting other Commonwealth countries and G7 leaders to sign the Declaration for Safety.
Now, let us hear experts' opinion about this news article. Ms. Laika will report the news. Ms. Laika?
Thank you, Ms. Cheska. According to Resmitalit, there is a dark realization of the continuous problems and suffering children in conflict zone have to face. The painful facts that the millions of students worldwide have to cope with the brought home by the figures on the numbers of schools destroyed, children demolished, and incidents involving violence in schools. For further information, let us hear her interview.
This article gives us a lot of mixed emotions. There's a sense of relief and hope knowing that the UK has committed to the Safe Schools Declaration. It is a significant step toward protecting the education of children, especially in conflict-affected areas where schools are often targeted or distracted. This commitment, spurred by the advocacy efforts of global citizens and various organizations, is a testament to the power of collective action in addressing urgent humanitarian issues.
Now let us hear for another expert's opinion, Ms. Jasmine Pelayo, where she said the Syrian military action severely and deeply affected to the children in the country.
Children in the country are severely and deeply affected by the military's operation in Syria. Millions of students lack access to quality education as a result of the conflict destroying or seriously damaging many schools. Furthermore, a significant number of families have been pushed to leave their homes due to the violence and instability, which has further disrupted the education of children and exposed them to potential risks including trauma, exploitation, and relocation. Alongside the actual devastation of school buildings, there are other effects on education. The emotional trauma, bereavement, and loved ones, and change to daily routines that children in conflict areas frequently experience can have a lasting impact on their development and well-being. Children who lack access to school miss out on important learning opportunities and are less able to rebuild their communities and secure a better future.
Do you think the Philippines has to sign the said declaration?
The Philippines, like many other nations affected by violence and war, has difficulties ensuring the security and safety of its students and schools. The Philippines would show its commitment to respecting international humanitarian values and making sure that education is protected during times of armed conflict by signing the statement.
That's all for now on the latest breaking news.
Thank you, Ms. Laika, for informative information. And now, our commentator for the week came from Mr. Unknown, and his question is, why should we care about the children and their learning environment around the globe?
Well, education is a fundamental human right, essential for the development and fulfillment of every child. Ensuring access to quality education for all children, regardless of their circumstances, upholds their inherent dignity and rights. Children are the society's future inventors, leaders, and contributors. By funding their education, you can make sure that they have the information, abilities, and chances to live successful, meaningful lives that promote wealth and global economic growth.
Up next for the advancing news, acting as global citizen, will be reported by Ms. Hannah Ramos, Resmi Dalit, and Jasmine Pelayo.
A lovely morning, everyone. Our topic for today is acting as global citizen. First, let's define what is global citizen. Global citizenship refers to the social, environmental, and economic behaviors of individuals and communities who recognize that everyone is a citizen of the globe. It is about how actions made in one area of the world influence individuals in another, and how we all have a common humanity and equal worth. It entails being open to good interaction with various identities and cultures, as well as the ability to detect and fight preconceptions. It is also about using and sharing the Earth's resources equitably while upholding everyone's human rights.
An intellectual was usually a world citizen. They would travel extensively, meet and write with intellectuals across the world, and promote cosmopolitan ideas. Since 1945, the typical image of a global citizen has been that of a transnational social movement activist. It is true that the idea that travel is a manifestation of cosmopolitanism.
Mass tourism has negative impacts on the environment and local culture and has little to do with fostering greater understanding between nations. It also frequently isolates visitors from the society they are visiting. Nonetheless, some activities such as school-child exchange are seen to be beneficial for fostering interpersonal understanding.
A global understanding of the academic environment still includes the idea of the itinerant scholar. Governments also support the development of cordial ties between nations. Both official transnational organizations and informal networks began to emerge at the start of the 21st century. Professional or social interests that have grown in importance in international politics are pursued by these groups.
The development of a civil global society may be seen in the establishment of these organizations, because members of transnational groups frequently serve to further their own specific interests. It is not always the case that their actions constitute those of global citizens. Members of this group gather at worldwide conferences to exchange ideas and advocate for governments and international law to uphold their rights to copyright and royalties from their written works.
Supporting international organizations demonstrated commitment to global issues. In the 20th century, there was a notable increase in both the quantity and significance of volunteer organizations that opposed persecution or showed real sympathy with those enduring hardship in the other regions of the world. A large number of people worldwide are establishing connections beyond national boundaries in order to show support for cosmopolitan ideas. Talks about global citizenship are cited by international groups such as Oxfam, Greenpeace, and Amnesty International. International movements often entail political advocacy and demonstrations.
Sometimes, they encompass more extreme form of resistance. They also depend on volunteers who offer direct assistance to those who are suffering from abuse, poverty, war, among others.
Global city, wherein a community in which individuals from several nations have a shared culture, is known as a global society. One may consider a global society to be the inevitable result of globalization, the process by which different countries and cultures become more interdependent. News reporter EJ Abian, live at Olfo Valenzuela. Miss EJ?
Yes, Mark. The idea of civil society has been essential to social theory since the 1980s, when dissident intellectuals in Eastern Europe looked to grassroots social networks for sphere of independence from the state and a foundation for resistance. The development of autonomous social organizations and institutions has been viewed as critical to democracy in both existing communist regimes like China and other authoritarian governments. Democratic theorists have maintained that civil society is crucial to liberal democracies as a buffer against an invading state. Participation in volunteer organizations fosters political education and encourages responsible citizenship. According to Hegel and Marx, civil society is characterized by the market economy, which promotes individuality in social divisions. Civil society, according to most philosophers, is different from the state in economics. Civil society sometimes include informal connections, such as among neighbors or hobbyists. The impact of global civil society depends on its definition in the economic and political strength of its constituent groupings. Global civil society challenges nations by opposing official policies and connecting individuals from different countries, campaigning for human rights using cosmopolitan ideas in international law. Cosmopolitanism emphasizes universal equality and human rights. Transnational human rights groups are frequently mentioned in discussion of global society and citizenship. According to Richard Falk, global civil society supports a world system that prioritizes human rights over national interest. Amnesty International and regional human rights organizations represent the push for a law of humanity. Amnesty International is a well-known human rights group with a global presence and a distinct secretariat. It demonstrates multinational action to preserve individual rights. Amnesty has helped develop global civil society. It can also be viewed as a collective global citizen. Back to you, Mark.
Thank you, EJ Abian. In addition, for information, global citizens have a better awareness of the world and their role in it, allowing them to make more informed decisions in their own lives and contribute more constructively to society as a whole.
The ultimate objective of global citizenship for children is to actively participate in the world and contribute towards development. This is why original thought is so important in the process. Educational travel allows you to witness and analyze global challenges.
They understand the interdependence of the world's concern and work to address them through local and global initiatives. Global citizenship entails a dedication to social justice, environmental sustainability, and intercultural understanding. These are important goals.
And that's it for the news for today. Thanks for joining us and have a good day. My name is Cheska Basidan, your news anchor.
And I am Mark Nathaniel Agno.
And this is G5 News Report.